G'day guys, welcome to Ask Woodford episode 31. I'm your host as always, Christian Woodford. Welcome to my show. This is a show that we give power back to you guys. You guys give me questions, I answer them because I get so many through my email, I get so many through my Facebook. We thought we'd make a show on it. Ask Woodford episode 31. We're developing this very nicely. Alex, as always, my producer, my cameraman, ask away. We have a long question now.
Yes, Ryan Arthur has a question about unilateral versus bilateral bilateral work in relation to Mike Boyle. So firstly, I just want to say he's a huge fan of your work and you're a pioneer of the industry. I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and a prime example of why I think you're an industry leader is you're not afraid to tell it how it is. Example, when you criticize LeBron James for using a Boaza ball to perform his training, majority of the people would not argue with LeBron because of his name and reputation, but you did, and in my eyes that commands respect and it shows that you are in it for the right reasons. Keep up the good work. So just want to start off with
props. That's big props. Thank you, sir. What's his name?
Ryan.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Alright, now he wants to know your thoughts on Mike Boyle and how he uses only unilateral squats and deadlifts for his athletes. He used to train conventional bilateral work, but in the last 5-10 years he's changed.
He does do front squats.
Well, according to Mike Boyle, he only performs unilateral for his pro athletes and other athletes.
He does do front. I'm telling you right now, he does do front squats. Just to let you know, but what he's writing, yeah, he's correct. He does do front squats, but all the rest of it, it's he does He's a big Bulgarian split squat guy.
Well, Mike's take on it is because the majority of sports are not played with both feet; they're played with 1 foot at a time.
Correct.
And he says that single leg strength is transferable to bilateral, whereas bilateral strength is not transferable to unilateral.
Yeah.
Anyway, he wants to know your take on this because he knows you're a big on bilateral movements, and what's your opinion on what Mike does?
Okay, Mike Boyle, number one. First of all, Mike Boyle, you cannot discredit Mike Boyle for what he's done. I think he's a fantastic coach, educator, whatever, blah, blah. I've read Boyle's books front to back, side to side. I reckon Boyle's unbelievable. Fantastic coach. Understanding this game, this is before we even start this, right? I'm going to use two fucking quotes I use all the time. Many roads lead to Rome. There's many ways to skin a cat. The issue with this industry is, and it's always going to be a consistent issue, there's many ways you can do something to enter the same goal, which is performance. I'll give you an example. A very well-respected high-performance manager in the AFL once told me, when I was an undergrad student, when I used to have coffee with him, he used to say, you can have 5 different coaches, all programming differently, and have one athlete, but all end up to the same goal, which is performance. It's just how you interpret the fundamental sports science principles and apply it into a practical sense for each individual athlete, and that specific athlete, using the fundamental sports science principles. Overload, specificity, individualization. Okay? Using those principles, applying to that specific athlete. Okay? There's many ways you can do something. So just because Boyle says that, A, it might be right for his athletes, but it might not be right for your athletes or your... Okay, understand that. I think when he came out and said this, so many people got so upset. Like,
get emotional, man.
But you don't. But here's the thing, Alex, about training. Stop getting fucking emotional. Like, I used to do it as well when I was younger. When I first started Woodford, I got so emotional. Oh, he's attacking. I don't give a fuck if you don't think it works. If you don't like and I say, you've heard this. I say this at the start of every single one of my courses. I say it all the time. Before I even start, I want to say this to everyone. I don't know everything. I don't think I know everything. I never will know everything. No one will, right? No one will, right? What I do know is what I'm going to teach you, right? This is what works for me. If you don't like it, that is fine. You might like A, B, C, but you might not like D, E, F. That is fucking fine. But this is what works for me. Am I saying I don't want to learn? No. Am I going to say I'm going to refine my systems? Yes. Okay? Too many people get emotionally attached to a certain training system. Don't get attached to training systems. Get attached to principles and results. Because that's all that matters. Results. No one gives a fuck if, let's say, here's an example. This really annoys me. Let's say your example is, just for example, right? An athlete comes to you, right? An athlete wants to increase his vertical jump, improve his lower body strength via bilateral patterns, right? And at the end of that program, right, Alex, he improves his vertical jump and he improves his strength via bilateral pattern, squat and dead, right? Tick, tick. Who gives a fuck what that dude over there in internet land saying, oh, but he only does that training system, or he does that, he doesn't do it like that. Who gives a fuck? Because he got his results. The number one most important thing about all we do is, number one factor to everything is what? Results for your clients. Who cares about the method they use to get the results? If they got the results, what the fuck are we arguing about? It happens all the time. And I see young kids not trying because of that. I see young coaches too scared because they're worried about what everyone's going to say about them. Who gives a fuck? Or people who come to my workshops and they're scared to say they do a certain way because they're scared about what I think. Who gives a fuck what I think? Who cares? I say the same thing. You're saying that to me, but did they get results? He goes, yes. I go, why do you give a fuck what I think? That program is proof it worked. Here's my thing now, how I look at things. Did the program work? Yes? Okay, it's a good program. Did it not work? Okay, no, it didn't work. That's fine. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's work out what worked, what didn't work. Let's refine. Let's make it better. Common sense, right? But in this industry, people are so tied and emotionally invested to training systems. It's almost like, oh, you don't bilateral squat, blasphemy, you don't bilateral. Come on, man, you fucking serious? Like, who gives a fuck what Boyle said? Oh, sorry, take that word out. Take that word out. Please take that word out. Beep that word. Beep it because it'll be funny. Beep it. Can't have that word. Sorry, mum. I get a bit. I'm talking about emotion.
I'll cut the C word out of everything.
Just beep it because it's funny. You can beep it. Don't leave it out. Just beep it because it's funny. Because then, sorry, mum. I love you. Hey, Wood. Sorry. No, I can't say that. Mum told me not to swear that. I can say fuck though, but not that. See how emotional I get. We're talking about emotional investment. I get emotional, but people get so emotionally attached to these things, Alex. Like, it's almost like you're a chef, right? Hear me out, right? You're a chef, right? And you're like a Michelin 5-star chef, right? And you are legit. I'm talking, you've done 15 years experience. You've worked under Gordon Ramsay. He's the only one I can really give, I don't know, chef. But Gordon Ramsay or that other douchebag who's on TV, right? And you built your name up, your reputation. You are the best. I'm talking, you are legit. Experience, theory, you're the shit, right? That chef right there, right? He knows his systems work. He knows how to manipulate for X, Y, and Z. He's seen a general pattern. So because of experience, he's going to be more time effective and efficient because he's worked a system what works for him, right? That's the Michelin chef. Now, the chef who's working at fucking McDonald's, who's just starting off in their career, they're still a chef, yes. Okay, I understand that. They still are a chef in some ways, but they don't have the experience. They're not cooking high-level food. So for them, they're going to be more tied towards, training system. This training system worked with this athlete. I'm going to use this. And that doesn't work. I'm going to use that training system. They're more tied to training systems where this Michelin chef has the experience to know, hey, I'm not too worried about training systems. I'm going to apply principles and then work, and then every athlete will have a unique differences that I'm going to use specifically, and I'm going to use that. Yeah, they've got a method to their madness, but they understand that principles rule. This one here just doesn't have that understanding yet, okay? Too many people at this stage where it's all about methods, okay? Methods are many, principles are few. Yes, you need training systems. I have training systems, okay? But I always say to people, this is just what works for me. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is, did your program work? Yes or no? Don't worry about your training system. Don't worry about anything else. In the case of Boyle's saying that, I have no that's fine. No issue with that. If Boyle doesn't want a bilateral squat, and Boyle can do what the fuck he wants. That's his athletes, right? Not mine, right? Do I believe in that? No. But does that mean I'm going to come after him? Like people came after him like blasphemy. It's like, Jesus Christ, this guy's training. This guy's legit. He's a smart dude. If he says that, have a bit of if someone of that stature says something, I'm going to listen, right? Does that mean I'm going to fucking blindly follow him like a sheep? No. But do I agree with what he's saying? Yes. Of course I'm agreeing. I sometimes see that as well. Does that mean I'm not going to bilateral squat my guys? No, I bilateral squat. But I like to see it this way. I like to hit all different areas. I like to expose my athlete to a number of different variables. Bilateral work, unilateral work, core work. You see what I'm saying? It's like a good recipe. You need all the parts of the recipe, make it that fucking perfect cake. See what I'm saying? Am I a big believer in, like, I'll give you an example. Chris Vi, I bring him up a lot because he's a highly trained athlete. Sprinter, 10-6 runner. I don't like him heavy bilateral squatting anymore, especially when he's in season, because we're not going to get any transference. You're going to get more transference because a split squat, a Bulgarian squat is going to have a lot more transference in terms of sprinting performance than it is a bilateral squat. Okay, it's more in terms of that unilateral, movement where one leg up, one leg down. So I'm going to see more transference with that. Loading one leg, I agree with that. But he's so highly trained, bilateral strength is no longer going to transfer into his sprinting performance. So I'm going to use more supplementary unilateral work. So I can see why he's saying that. But horses for courses, you've got to understand that. You've got to use, have you ever heard that? Horse for courses. Well, I knew that's why you're looking at me. It's like a toolbox. use the tool that fits that certain case. Don't just fucking go out and just because he says that doesn't mean he's going to use that on every athlete. You know, I guarantee you, he still, you know, he says he does front squat him. I know he does front squat him, all right? He does, trust me. But yeah, it's always interesting to hear how people just can find up. I've just got to, my suggestion to everyone out there is apply principles, find a system that works for you, right? Just because it works for one doesn't mean it's going to work for 2, 3, or 4, right? But in saying that, if what works for one, it might work for 2, it might work for 3, it might, you know, understand, find a system, work within a system, and then refine it. I'll give you an example. Look at my videos from 6 years ago. Did I RDL? Did I front squat? Did I back squat? Did I split squat? Did I hip thrust? I did all that. What's the difference now? I'm a lot more refined at how I coach. I can say less and get more out of it, and I'm more time efficient. That's the art of being a coach, and refining what you're doing, refining your systems. That's it. It's a good question though. I agree with what Boyle says. Am I saying that I'm gonna do that? No, I'm gonna use what works for me. At the end of the day, all that matters is what? Results. Who gives a fuck what this idiot says? Fuck him. Who cares? If this dude wants to say that, well, fucking good on you, champ.
Can I throw in a spanner?
Yeah, go. So context is everything as well. Yeah.
So what if someone who uses unstable surfaces and Boaza balls and all that fancy stuff, and they say they get results, how do you balance that?
Okay, here's the thing about that, right? I understand what you're saying, because I've had this thrown at me before, right? It's definitely, I agree with what you're saying, right? But results in what though, Alex? Results in what, right? Quite clearly, if you're using a Boaza ball and you're saying you're getting results on body composition, that's bullshit. What calorie expenditure can you get on standing on an unstable surface like a Boaza ball? Not a lot, exact compared to a ground-based movement. Fuck all. What are you going to get more calorie expenditure out? A heavy barbell on your back on stable surface? Or you can't really, you're not going to have a heavy barbell on your back on an unstable surface. You can't expend much calories. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying, right? Depends on the goal and the context. Now, if you're saying to me, okay, I'm improving ankle stabilization, probably can understand that, right? But if you're staying for functional performance or whatever, that's bullshit. That's a fucking lie and you know it, right? That's what I'm calling out on. Do you see what I'm saying? But hey, if you come out, right, and you say, I'm using it for ankle stabilization, listen, I'm not a big proponent of it, right? That's me, right? Once again, if you want to use it, fine. If you want to use a Boaza ball because it's functionally performance for your sport, fucking do it. Good luck to you. But my boys will be using a fucking heavy barbell on the back and it's going to be ground based. You come talk to me when someone's fucking strong and running at you. See how long that fucking Boaza ball lasts. See how long that Boaza ball chain lasts. No, you go.
Any thoughts on hamstring injuries in the AFL right now? You asked which club. He said Adelaide especially. You said you put it on Ask Woodford.
I don't know. Fuck. Listen, number one, I don't know what they do. I don't know anything about pro sport in Australia. I don't know how AFL clubs run. Every AFL club will be different. They're going to have a slight different training methodology in terms of their high performance manager. So it really depends who their high performance manager is, what they believe in, what their background is. And from their high performance manager, it's going to trickle down to their high performance staff in terms of their rehab coach, the physiotherapist. Everyone's going to have a say in the total program. I don't know. I don't work in the pro sport. I will never work in pro sport. I don't want to work in pro sport in Australia. My goal will always be the private sector. I have more freedom. I can do what I want. I can say what I want. I'm not confined by someone else. I can't have a boss really because I don't. I could only work for a few people if that was to happen. Where I want to do my own thing. My area is strength, power, speed. So I want to run my own program. And I'm not good at managing people. I like managing myself. So I wouldn't know. That question, I got no idea. I don't know what they do, don't know their rehab programs, I couldn't care fucking less really, so yeah, I've really got nothing to say about that. In all honesty, I have no idea what AFL teams do. Beyond what Jay tells me and a few of my mates work in pro sport around the world in Australia, I got no idea and I couldn't give fucking two fucking rats about it really. Right. Don't care.
Gareth Morrissey.
No, that's not saying that, I think I'm better than that or anything. I just have no real care for if I'm not invested in it in terms of I don't really, why would I give a fuck? Like I don't care. Like good luck to them, whatever they're doing. If they're getting injuries, obviously if they're getting injuries, obviously that you got to start doing something different. So that's all I got to say about that. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, Gareth Morrissey.
What are you doing? Are you going home?
Yeah, I'm gonna go home.
Oh, you're going home, are you?
I'm work, yeah, but let's watch it now.
I'm really interested in getting some help and guidance.
You're going home, mate.
No, I'll catch you. It's alright.
Oh, I'm going home. Oh, everyone, Brick's going home. See you, Brick. Brick, you want to say hello, Brick? Just say hello, Brick. Come over here, sweet breasticles. Sweet breasticles. Sweet breasticles.
I'm like below one.
Oh, vesicles. I switch to vesicles. No. Come back here, vesicles. He's a good man. He's strong. Dexterity check tomorrow. Friday, you know the dexterity check.
Very small.
3 less small room. Alright, go away now, prick. You're wrecking my thing. See you tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oi. Now, vesicles.
I'm early anyway.
Alright, well, I'm here all day, prick. Work 'em up. Ass off. See you, mate.
You ready? See ya.
See you, prick. My sweet prick.
You bet.
Sweet prick. There we go.
I'm a bit lost, and I recently decided to jump back to PT after 4 years of managing jets. I feel like I've lost my way. I love training, and I guess I was scared to take the risk and trust myself, but I'm finding my brain and knowledge isn't where it needs to be. I'm subcontracting in a gym. I really want to succeed. I'm 36. I want to be able to get my own place and build it up with great coaching. Would it be okay for me to join, or should I look at further study? I hope that all makes sense.
That makes no sense.
Some of these guys, for real. Let's work on the phrasing of these questions. Christian already has enough trouble understanding normal.
2 options. Listen, you can either take. My suggestion is go exercise science part-time. Listen, my thing about this is knowledge is power in this industry. So I do that part-time, and then he wants his own facility. So he's been out of it a while. So I would look at slowly starting, starting building your brand. Start with the most simplest things like a Facebook or an Instagram page. I listen to Gary. I'm a Gary Vee fan, a massive Gary Vee fan. Thanks to Alex behind the camera. And I just love how Gary Vee says, he talks about how putting out content, just fucking stop thinking about it and just fucking do it. Too many people overanalyze everything. Just fucking, jump in. The best people just jump in. Like that's what I did when I started Woodford. I didn't even know Gary Vee back then, but I jumped in. I just did it. I showed my passion. Show your passion. Show what you love doing, and it will come off. And if you really give a fuck about this industry, you really care, it will. You will grow, and you just got to stick out. You got to stay consistent, and you could look. Don't worry about your age because you can do it at any time, and stick at it, and be passionate, and live your dream. That question made no fucking sense, but I try to answer my best of my ability. Sorry, Gary. Was your name Gary?
No, Gareth.
Gareth. Well, fuck, close enough.
Boaza. So he recalls you favouring rack pull or trap bar over conventional deadlifts. Yeah. He was interested in seeing what studies you've looked at regarding this and whether they are more beneficial for multi-sport athletes in terms of training, proper force generation, for sprinting and jumping. Yeah.
There was a study out with Chris Beardsley, who's the strength conditioning guy, researching.
What a head.
Oh, mate, fuck, mate. Let's be serious, mate. That bloke ain't picking up. He's not a guy you go out with on the nightclub, 4 a.m. at Tramp waiting in the line. He's not a guy like that, don't think. Not that I'm saying judge a book by its colour, but Jesus Christ. Great guy, though. Good research. Not a party guy. Where was I going? I just had a laugh at his... Why'd you say that? Because it's put me off topic now, his head. Because his head. It's his head. It is, though, isn't it? But people look... You know what? People look at my head, they're like, fuck, what a head. But that's a new level. I pull those. There was a research study out recently by Chris talking about the trap bar versus the straight bar in power production. I can't remember. I put it on my LinkedIn. Maybe we can link it in. But listen, people need to understand this, right? We can't... I think a big thing about people, the practice is ahead, the art is ahead of the science. So being coaches, you can't always wait for the science to validate it, right? This is literally, you know what validated my claims? Was literally experience. Because I've coached so much and I've seen the difference between a trap bar, a rack pull versus a straight bar, and looking at the risk versus reward, the time effectiveness, the safety, etc. What I found was athletes do not get extra points for pulling with a straight bar compared to using another tool and developing the posterior chain and getting the same benefit out of it than compared to a straight bar. I think in the industry as a whole, we're too confined by strength sports, powerlifting, Olympic lifting, and CrossFit bodybuilding. Yes, that is their sport. If you're a powerlifter, you have to lift with a straight bar. You're gonna have to deadlift with a straight bar, right? But we train non-strength sport athletes. So what do we use lifting for? Let's go back to the crux of the issue. Let's go to the reason why. What is our why? Well, our why with our athletes is a stimulus for adaptation. Our why is we're using a deadlift to develop the posterior chain. Our why is developing ground-based power. Our why is a stimulus for adaptation. Our why is not sport. Athletes lift weights to get better at sport. athletes don't lift weights to get better at lifting weights, if you know what I'm saying. So too many people get confined with that. So a lot of people, a lot of athletes, everyone in general, a lot of athletes in general, tight the hips, tight the ankles, have poor body awareness, like anyone. So trying to pull weight, deadlift with a dead weight from the floor and you're not in the right pulling position. I talked about this with my game changers. If you want to join my community of like-minded individuals, go to woodfordshop.com. I talked about this with my game changers, right? Most people, when they set up for a deadlift, are in the wrong position. Hips too low, quad dominant. What is the reason why you're using a fucking deadlift then? A deadlift will load the posterior chain, high hips. Everything we do within the gym, a strength base, how I look at is classification, training neural pattern, nothing more, nothing less. Look for a joint angle, shins vertical, trunk horizontal. Squat pattern, trunk upright, lateral ankle dorsiflexion, nothing more, nothing less, right? If your hips are too low, it's again the whole reason why you're doing a fucking deadlift. More of the fact that they can't get in the right pulling position because their hips are too low and they're sloppy, they're off tension. You're gonna load your back. So I said, fuck, this is why I'm creating the big six. 6 foundational classified movements. Lower body push, lower body pull, horizontal pull, vertical push, vertical pull. 6 core strength patterns that you guys need to know inside out. There's the core of your program for performance, introduction, rehab, body confidence. Every goal can be stimulated through those 6 movements. You should know big6.com ebook. Go to woodfordshop.com. My Big 6. You guys should get it, man. Every coach, every trainer in the world should have my Big 6 ebook because it breaks down 6 core foundational movements, teach you how to coach it, progress it, regress it. Those 6 movements should be the foundation of every program in the world for the rest of your fucking career, for the rest of your life. Seriously, they are. You just choose a variant that works for you. And that's what I started. That question was how I started the Big 6. Because so many people were trying to straight bar deadlift, I'm like, ugh, it doesn't look good. Set position all wrong. And I started to say, instead of fucking just banging square peg, round hole, instead of doing that and trying to bang away at it, I said, why do that when you can use more tools in your toolbox, be smart about it, and choose a variant that works for your athlete and get the same stimulus out of it, get the same response, be safer. So the risk versus reward relationship is more on the reward. So what does it say? It's safer. We're going to go on that side. It's safe to use that. Less mobility is needed. And it's time effective. Tick, 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 tick. That's why. And I just got sick of people just banging away with something just because a powerlifter does it. Fuck, no offense, fuck powerlifters. Like, no, you know what I mean? Like, not in that sense. I love powerlifting, but what I'm saying is fuck the powerlifter methodology. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not fuck, fuck you, JP. But not in that, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like in terms of the methodology of squat, dead, bench, you know, like, that's their sport. Let them do their sport. I understand, I respect their sport. But don't just fucking just do their methodology. Anyway, athletic-based strength training. Very important, athletic-based strength training, important to understand. Means to an end, not the end.
We got a question from one of our game changers. She messaged me a while back. Jackie, aka Adaptive Personal Training on Instagram.
Jackie.
A very good question. She wanted to know how you started taking the risk to open up your own space. Did you have any financial help? Take out a bank loan, etc. Was he on his own or was he with other trainers? Because she's looking to start the next step and would love some advice.
Jackie, does anything I look at doing planned? Do I look like a methodical guy who really sits back and just goes, we're going to do a SWOT analysis here and just work out the strengths and the weaknesses of my oppositions and what they're doing and how we do it. And I don't really seem like a guy that really does that. So I never plan anything. I just do everything off my heart. So how I started Woodford was, if you don't know the story, I'm not going to go through it in full because we've all heard it before. Came back from America post-college and just said I wanted to change the industry in Australia. I said I had a goal, I had a vision. I said I'd do it in about 10 to 15 years. I said I want to be the number 1 in Australia within 10 years. I said I want to be number 1 in the world in 15. And I harbour these visions every day and I keep moving forward with what I do. There's road humps in it. Yes, I understand that. In terms of how I set up, no, I had no help. I just had enough money to set up through my training at that other gym. I subleased for like a year and I just had to move out. At some stage, you've got to take a risk. Risk it for the biscuit. You either sit back, you can sit back all day and wonder about the risk or you can worry about what my competitors are doing. I've never once, and this is, and you know this, Al, you can say this, I've never ever worried about my competitors, what they're doing. I've never. A lot of people worry about what I'm doing. No, I'm not going to name it, but a lot of people like fucking worry about, what's he? I couldn't. Personally, between me and everyone out there, I don't give a flying fuck. Not that I don't respect them. You know, I don't even care really what they're doing. I don't give a fuck Because me worrying about what they're going to do, how's that going to help my clients or my athletes get results? It's not. What's the point of worrying about it? Just do you. Stop worrying about other people. And saying that, though, probably be a little bit more professional when it comes to doing your due diligence on fucking, I kind of just I saw this place. I'm like, yeah, this will do. I'll just take this. I just didn't even care.
Then how did you take that step financially?
Because I had
such a big place.
Because I had enough money behind me. I said, oh, this will do. I had to. They kicked me out. The other joint kicked me out, so I had no other option really. It was just either sink or swim. Listen, you can. You know what? You can sit all day, Alex. You can sit back. All the risks. People think you're gonna love this because this is SOS, right? This is SOS on you, right? Seriously, this is SOS. How many people do you know sit and hum and ha on their career and go, oh, they think of every negative under the sun? I'm gonna flip this on you. Instead of thinking of the negative, think of the positive. What could go right? How could I be the most successful I ever thought? Instead of thinking negative, why don't you think positive? Why not? Why do we have to always think negative? Because it's human nature. Because we always want to break ourselves down. Well, I'm the opposite. I always just build myself up. I'm like, oh, well, fuck this. I'm going to... I've never ever had thoughts of failure. Never. Because I don't see failure as a failure. See, for you guys, a lot of people out... Not you guys, but for a lot of people out there want to see me fail. And I know that. And for me, I just feel sorry for them because they're so scared to live their dream. They have to fucking hate on me in my own dream and they want to see me fail. But instead of hating on my dream, maybe if they went out and tried their dream and had some fucking balls and put themselves out there and try to help the industry, maybe they could do something better for the industry instead of hating me. See, for me, I never see it as failure because I'm going to look back in my life and say I've always done everything I wanted. For these people, they're just sad. And Jackie, people, I've told you before, you're going to get people love you, people hate you. Just understand that you need to be so in tune with who you are as a person, especially doing what I do because you got to put yourself out there. Jackie, go out there, go do it. Instead of thinking what the bad stuff that can happen, I want you to turn that on the head and say what is the good stuff that can happen from it? Living my dream, getting fantastic results, changing people's lives. Start thinking about the good, fuck the bad. Guys, do we have another question or that's it? I thought that was it.
No, we got it.
Well, give me one more.
All right. So, we get quite a few questions on this. They want some drills and strength and power exercises for MMA. Please. Dee Kay, 23.
Dee Kay, Drift King. You're Drift King. I watched Fast Furious too much. I've watched the franchise. I love it. Man, how good's Vin Diesel? Fucking sick. Vin, great man. I remember, first episode of Fast Furious, how good was that? Ja Rule was in it, that's when Ja Rule was cool. Until Fitty fucked him, now Fitty's an idiot as well. There we go. Apparently Fitty ruined him. Thanks Fitty, you fucking idiot. Hey 50 Cent. Where'd I go with that? MMA. So I train a lot of combat sport athletes. Listen, rotational stuff's a big one. We talked about this before. Listen, I'll be honest, I'm going to say 99% of combat athletes I've ever met have never done any structured strength.
Some of them don't even think they need to. You listen to Joe Rogan, a lot of them don't
yeah, but it is so technical. I agree, because I talk to the people in the know, right? And they talk about black belt BJJ, what the fuck you call it, versus like a big strong dude. That guy, just because they use their body well. And I understand that, but when you're at that level, that 1% does count at MMA. So if you're in the UFC, man, they all do it in the UFC.
Not all of them.
Really?
No. They're trying to give them the opportunity to.
Well, the UFC Performance Institute, which I think is fantastic. Yeah. I just think, first of all, I just said before, most of them are going to be novices. Window of adaptation is huge. So how do we maximize power power, punching power as well. Punching power starts from the legs, applying force to the ground, works up the chain of the hand, right? Just getting stronger through your foundational list, my big six, squatting, deadlifting, split squat, supplementary, that's fine. That's the first thing I look at. Once you've done that, upper body strength as well, push, pull, really developing the upper back as well. Do you know why? Because when you decelerate, what decelerates the punch? The upper back, the lats, the rhomboids, all that decelerates. So you've got to make sure you're strong through that. That's work with Campbell as well, Heath as well with a tennis player. I'll be working on that. Once you've got a general strength base, get a strength base, a movement efficiency base, so you're technically good as well. Then you can start your rotational, your med ball work, your power work, because boxing, MMA is a rotational based sport, so it's very important you do your med ball work, your rotational. We do lots of scoop tosses, rotational hip toss, overhead throw, chest pass, stuff like that, where you're projecting into free space. I think that's fantastic. Then integrating it with the specific skill. I wouldn't be doing any boxing with the dumbbells because it's not actually a horizontal, gravity's bringing you down that way. So it's not really You think about when you're punching and you got the weight here, gravity's bringing you down this way. If you're on your back, I can understand that, but the weight's here. All right, so it's not really gonna. I see Floyd do it. That's fantastic. Floyd's the best boxer of all time. Just because he does something, does that mean you're gonna? Just if Floyd jumps off a bridge, does that mean you're gonna jump off a bridge? But that's what I'm saying. Just because one guy, it's like LeBron. Yeah, LeBron's a freak basketballer. But the post he puts up, he's talking about function. That's not functional for his sport. It's just balance, stability. If you wrote that, yeah, you can understand. But anyway, LeBron's a freak basketballer. Is that it? We'll do it next time. We've got so many questions. Hey, you know what? I'm humbled the fact that you guys asked me questions. Guys, got a few things coming up in the pipeline. A New Zealand tour. If you're from New Zealand, get ready. I'm coming. You guys want it? I'm coming. My first international trip, which is fantastic. Done it under 6 years. How cool is that, eh? I predicted this would happen. And once again, I open my mouth. And my old man used to always say, if you open your mouth, you better be able to back it up, son. And I'll back it up every time. You got to talk, but you got to back it up. So, New Zealand, if you're a New Zealand coach, trainer, student, I'm coming. One time only. Get ready, I'm coming for that. Workshops all coming out in Melbourne. Potsy's workshop, guys. Sunshine Coast, guys, I want you guys to be there. I want to see you guys. Sunshine Coast coming up very soon. Get tickets. Lots of stuff happening in Woodford. Yeah, what do you mean?
Tell them.
What do you mean?
Look at them.
What do you mean? I'm looking at them. Sunshine Coast, guys, I want to see you there. Athletes, guys, we're coming up to our busiest time. Junior athletes, senior athletes, it's all happening at Woodford Sports Science Consulting. Guys, I thank you as always. I want to thank my sponsors, maconfitness.com.au, LP Support, and as always, you guys for watching. This is episode 31 of the Ask Woodford. I'm Christian Woodford. I'll see you next week for episode 32.